Welcome to another episode of Sexagenarian Sages. And we are here to bust the myths of sexuality and aging. Today I want to talk a little bit about fear of sexual pleasure. We did a display at a local fair recently. This was a display to advertise what we do. We're sexuality and relationship coaches. And we were working on attracting or marketing to our local populace, the local demographic. We had a display that had several things on it. Let me show you. We started with a basket of dark chocolate, a great source of pleasure. It helps to release actually pleasure chemicals in your brain when you eat it. We love chocolate, at least most people do. Even diabetics who shouldn't be eating it. The next thing we had on our display was Epsom salts, something you can add to your bath or add to a basin to soak your feet in. It's good to help release your muscles, tight muscles, things like that. Something that many people in my generation grew up with. And finally, the thing that scared people to death. We had a display of condoms. It was interesting to me, though I've seen it so many times before, that the other sources of pleasure were acceptable. They were fine. Everybody loved chocolate, had the stuff to soak in. Oh, that's nice. Get a nice bath with those. But when it came down to sex, people recoiled. They had fear. They were saying things like, none of that, or I gave that up. I don't want anything to do with that. And the first thought that kind of went through my head was, why are these other pleasures okay, but this pleasure is not? What is it that makes it so that people are afraid of sexual pleasure? Is it because they think it has to be with a partner? And oh my God, there's all the stuff that gets involved with personalities and ego and all the social politics and everything with having to have a partner. I don't want to have to go through that again, which suggests that they never had a happy partnership to begin with, which was kind of sad. Something that can be taken care of, and it's something Belinda and I work with people around. And yet that was kind of one of the messages that we were getting. What's another message there? Maybe they had trauma in their past. Understandable. Many, many, many people have experienced trauma, sexual and otherwise. And so they want to put space between them and other people, particularly around sexuality. Once again, trauma is something that can be worked with. If you just simply ignore it, it's never going to go away. And it's going to make your life dissatisfying and unpleasurable. One of the things that kind of stuck in my mind is this belief that in order to have sexual pleasure, I've got to have a partner. Why? Now, it may be that you want a partner of the same gender, partner of a different gender. That's fine. That can bring some pleasure in your life. You know, it can cause other things to occur, and yet pleasure can still be obtained through having a partnership. But what about self-pleasure? Why does there have to be a partner? Why is it if I encounter a 68-year-old person who will tell me, oh, I gave all that up 20 years ago, has never taken the time to explore self-pleasure? Self-pleasure is making your body feel good. It's with someone you love, isn't it? You care about yourself. You want to experience some pleasure. What's wrong with that? What is it? Why in our society do we think that pleasure, particularly sexual pleasure or even self-pleasuring, is bad? Why do we attach all of this baggage, all of this heaviness, all of this "that's wrong" attitude to pleasure? I don't really understand that. Some of you may have some take on that, and put it in the comments. Tell me why you fear sexual pleasure, because I don't really understand it. It's one of the biggest hurdles that I work with clients. They are so afraid of having pleasure. So I'm going to ask you this. Take some time to begin to ask yourself the question, why do I fear sexual pleasure? What about it makes it something that is distasteful, disgusting, scary? All the other negative emotions that you may place on. Ask yourself, what in you makes you afraid of sexual pleasure? You don't need to answer it. You need to ask that question and begin to explore it. Find out what the source of that fear is and do something about it. Life is short. By cutting yourself off from something that is such an easy, direct form of pleasure, you are taking away a powerful part of life. You should enjoy pleasure in your life. As our mentor likes to say, fill your life with pleasure. Don't fill your life with anger, exhaustion, disgust, fear, all the kinds of things that are these emotions that drag you down and drain you. Find ways to bring pleasure into your life. Okay, so maybe you have to start with chocolate or whatever little thing gives you pleasure. It's a step. And so maybe you can work yourself up to the place of being able to find or explore your way into sexual pleasure. Don't give up because you're 61 years old, as one person said to me. Oh, I gave that up when I was 41. Why? Why would you give up pleasure and make your life unpleasant? It's unpleasant enough when you start getting older, when you get aches and pains, and you've suffered so many emotional things in your life that have made it uncomfortable. Find pleasure. Do it now. And ask yourself why you're afraid of it. Explore it. Put something in the comments. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this with people you think might be interested. And put some comments down. Thank you very much. We'll see you on our next Sexagenarian Sages, where we will continue to bust the myths of sex and aging. Thank you.